Welcome, everyone. I'll invite you to find a really comfortable position. So that could be seated, lying down, sitting on the floor. You can have something behind your low back if that feels good, or you can sit self-supported if that feels good. It's kind of up to you, and don't feel obligated to do what you did yesterday or to muscle through if today is a low energy day. Really ask yourself, what position would suit me best, and then do that. And then I'll invite you to just arrive in your body, shrug your shoulders up to the ears and let them fall down, and just see how that feels to really trust what's beneath you and trust that the earth holds you. You don't have to hold things too tightly or too tensely. And maybe we'll do that again, shrugging the shoulders up to the ears, adding some tension so that we can feel the contrast between the exhale and the release, and dropping the shoulders away from the ears. And then I'll invite you to slacken the jaw. Maybe you chew like a camel, or just move the teeth to side, or maybe you yawn. Because this is another place where sometimes we hold tension and we don't even notice. So when we deliberately release the jaw, we can see, okay, what does it feel like to hold the tension? And then what does it feel like to let that tension dissipate a little bit? It might not be 100% today. That's okay. We're just working incrementally towards being aware of where the stress is in our body, and reminding the body that it is okay to let go, and that we are safe, and that we are held, and that nothing bad is going to happen if we let the universe provide for us, rather than trying to manhandle every little bit of our existence. And then I'll invite you to just come into some easy cat-cows, looking up towards the ceiling and arching the back. And then rounding the spine and looking towards the floor, looking towards the belly. And these can be really slow. There's truly no rush and no expectation that you'll move in a certain time or move at a certain pace. So if you're not matching what I'm doing, that's fine. That's no big deal. Maybe you linger, or maybe you're feeling really energetic today, and actually some dynamic, quick cat-cows are what your body is really craving and asking for. And you can join the breath to this if you like, inhaling into your cow pose and exhaling into your Halloween cat, rounding the spine. And just feeling, how does the back feel today? How do the hips feel today? How does the neck feel today? Without judgment, and without, if you can, without labeling, oh, this feels good or bad, simply saying, oh, okay, this is tight, or this is loose, or this feels like it's coming naturally, or this is a little more sticky. Trying to use some neutral terms instead of some value-laden terms when we're talking about ourself, our condition, how we feel. And then I'll invite you to come back to a nice tall seat and look over one shoulder, maybe dropping that shoulder back, coming into a little twist. You can use the opposite hand on the opposite thigh if that helps. And use the eyes to help the twist. Wherever we look is where the body wants to go. So sometimes bringing the eyes over into the corner can help you get another inch of rotation. Don't forget to breathe. If breathing becomes belabored or difficult, maybe you've gone too far and you need to come out of it a little bit. Remember, 80% is always enough. We don't need to go completely to our edge. And I'll argue that the benefit is actually better if we stay in a place where the breathing is easy, where we're not itching to get out of the pose. And then slowly coming back towards center. And then when you're ready, looking over the opposite shoulder. And just starting here and seeing how the body feels, sitting up tall, maybe dropping that shoulder back, or using the opposite hand on the opposite thigh. And twist, twist, twist. Where the eyes go, the body wants to follow. So looking back behind you, you might get another inch of rotation, but don't go too far to where the breathing is difficult or this twist seems like it's too much. And then when you're ready, slowly coming back to center, maybe rolling the shoulders if that feels good, or rolling the wrists if that feels good. And then if there's any other movement that your body is craving today, so ask yourself, okay, is it that my ankles want to move, or is it my hips, or is there something else that my body is itching to do before I can find some stillness? Because there's nothing worse than trying to be still when the body is feeling some kinetic energy that wants to get out and move. And that's not to say that when we're in our stillness, we can't move mindfully. Obviously, if you're uncomfortable, I would much prefer you to make those slight adjustments and move a little bit so that you feel comfortable and held and grounded. And then when you're ready, you can close your eyes if that feels good, or you can simply lower the gaze, make the eyes go a little bit fuzzy so that we can focus a little more inwardly and decide, okay, how does the body land today? We're a different body every day, for better, for worse. We approach this practice with some open-mindedness and some curiosity. So find the breath. You don't have to change it. Just notice where it is. And then see how fast is your breath. How deep or shallow is the breath? And it's not good or bad either way. Can you feel it on the upper lip? Can you feel it in the chest? Maybe it's in the belly. Maybe it's in the back ribs. And as you keep half a mind on the breath, I'll invite you to set an intention for your practice. This could be an intention you've been working on, something that you want to have more of in your life, or it could be something that just comes to you today. Usually the first thing that comes to you is the right thing to ask for. And it's nice to set these intentions in present tense as if they've already happened. I am self-compassionate. I am taking care of my physical and mental needs. I am kind to myself and others, or whatever intention comes to you, and send it out into the universe. Let the universe help conspire to make it so. And then if you've lost the breath, come back to it. And maybe we enhance the breath a little bit, lengthening the inhales and slowing down the exhales. Coming into this nice, easy rhythm. Make the breath something that's simple, that's slow, that feels nice in the body. And I have a poem today from the poet Jeff Foster, and it is called How I Became a Warrior. Once, I ran from fear, so fear controlled me, until I learned to hold fear like a newborn. Listen to it, but not give in. Honor it, but not worship it. Fear could not stop me anymore. I walked with courage into the storm. I still have fear, but it does not have me. Once I was ashamed of who I was. I invited shame into my heart. I let it burn. It told me, I'm only trying to protect your vulnerability. I thanked shame dearly and stepped into life anyway, unashamed, with shame as a lover. Once I had great sadness buried deep inside. I invited it to come out and play. I wept oceans. My tear ducts ran dry. And I found joy right there, right at the core of my sorrow. It was heartbreak that taught me how to love. Once, I had anxiety, a mind that wouldn't stop, thoughts that wouldn't be silent, so I stopped trying to silence them. And I dropped out of the mind and into the earth, into the mud, where I was held strong like a tree, unshakable, safe. Once, anger burned into the depths. I called anger into the light of myself. I felt its shocking power. I let my heart pound and my blood boil, listened to it finally, and it screamed, "Respect yourself fiercely now. Speak your truth with passion. Say no when you mean no. Walk your path with courage. Let no one speak for you." Anger became an honest friend, a truthful guide, a beautiful wild child. Once, loneliness cut deep. I tried to distract and numb myself, ran to people and places and things, even pretended I was happy. But soon I could not run anymore. And I tumbled into the heart of loneliness. And I died and was reborn into an exquisite solitude and stillness that connected me to all things. So I was not lonely, but alone with all life, my heart one with all other hearts. Once I ran from difficult feelings. Now they are my advisors, confidants, friends, and they all have a home in me, and they all belong and have dignity. I am sensitive, soft, fragile. My arms wrapped around all my inner children, and in my sensitive power, in my fragility, an unshakable presence. In the depths of my wounds, in what I had named darkness, I found a blazing light that guides me now in battle. I became a warrior when I turned towards myself and started listening. That poem is How I Became a Warrior by Jeff Foster. Let that sink in. Come back to the breath if you've lost it. Come back to the belly. And then we'll use some of the images from this poem to channel our own emotions. It is so common that we just push the emotions away, or that we want to eliminate emotions that we think of as quote unquote negative. But this poem invites us to think of our emotions for their strengths rather than what we perceive as their weaknesses. So I'll first invite you to think about holding your fear like a newborn. And maybe you even physically sway a little bit as if you're rocking a baby and comforting your fear, telling it, "Thank you for showing up. It's okay. You're okay. We're okay." And if you have a specific fear, you can speak directly to that fear, saying, "Thank you. I hear you, but I'm the one who's in charge." And then I'll invite you to do some heart-centered breathing. So breathing into the heart space, you can place a hand over the heart if that helps. Reminding yourself that you are unique in all the world, and what a gift that is. Shame often comes when we feel like we are not fitting in, but it is the things that make us unique that are our most special gifts. So breathing into the heart, reminding yourself of all of the wonderful characteristics that you embody. Vulnerability is our surest, easiest, the most direct way to connecting with others. And I'll invite you to tap into the belly and into some sadness. There is sadness in all of us because we have many lives we cannot live, and many things we've had to say no to, and many things that we wish would have gone another way. But sorrow means that we care. It means we're tuned in. And I'll invite you to do a breathing practice. It's a quadruple exhale through the nose and then a natural inhale. So as if you're crying or shaking, it's like a belly breath, out, 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 and a natural in. And we'll do a few of those. And then let the breathing return to normal. We all have many thoughts. Many of our thoughts are repeat offenders. They come and they whisper the same things into our mind every day, or multiple times a day. And sometimes they are helpful, and many times they are not helpful. Many times our thoughts are not true, or there's no evidence for them being true. But we can acknowledge them and say, "Oh, thank you for showing up. I appreciate you. I've heard you." And then we can let them float away. So whichever analogy you like best, whether it's the clouds floating by or the leaves floating down a stream or watching traffic pass by on a busy road, I say, "That's a thought. Ah, there's a thought. Another thought." But the thoughts are not us. We do not have to go downstream or float across the sky or zoom down the highway just because our thoughts are racing. And then I'll invite you to turn again into the belly, which not only holds sadness, but holds our anger as well. And our hips also can hold our anger. And anger is the driver of so much change. And let's turn these lines into the poem into little mantras for ourselves. So you can repeat out loud or you can repeat in your head. I respect myself fiercely now. I speak my truth with passion. I say no when I mean no. I walk my path with courage. I let no one speak for me. And then I'll invite you back into the heart space, breathing into that heart, letting it grow. Maybe a little smile comes across the face, or you soften the eyes, or you soften the jaw if it's become a little bit tense. And I'll invite you to linger on all of the connections you have, all of the people who care about you. Ones that are near and ones that are farther afield. And then make a tiny intention today to reach out to someone, whether it's a little text message or a phone call or an email, whatever it is. One little person that you can say, hey, I'm thinking about you. Because if we always wait for people to connect with us, our lives are so busy. Sometimes it slips by the wayside, but that doesn't mean we're not being thought about, and it doesn't mean we're not thinking about others. And then come back into your body, pressing your feet into the floor, sinking into your hips, finding your breath if you've lost it. Maybe moving very gently, very slightly, starting to stretch out the hands, maybe rolling the neck a little bit gently. And if your eyes are closed, you can open the eyes. Thank you for practicing with me today.